Rot something. Okay. Here's the part where we pre-chat about the cards. Use academic espionage and then steal your ideas and then present them as my own. Because I made this. Yeah. Corpse Taker Synergy. I think this card is good with healing, says Trapper Keeper. Ooh, wow! Did anyone think about using this card with healing? That's basically any review streamer that is not Trump. Yeah. Let me do my imitation here. Crystal Smith Kangor. It's a 2-mana 1/2, so clearly the stats aren't quite good enough. So let's just make sure the abilities make up for that. Divine Shield, well that's getting somewhere. Lifesteal, very interesting. Your healing is doubled. Well, right away we can see that based off the healing is doubled, that you're going to want to put healing in your deck. Blah blah blah. I don't know who I'm imitating there. Everyone? Nobody, maybe? I think it could actually see play in a control paladin. I think that's the only deck that it'll see play in. Has potential need support? What are you talking about? This is the support. Support needs potential. Something like that. Okay. Give it 5 seconds before someone says evolved Kobold Fire Power Creep. 5, 4, 3, 2. Evolved Kobold died for this. enough. Oh yeah, it's better evolved Kobold. Is it good? Don't say yes too fast here. I'm actually not sure. Evolved Kobold only saw play because Ice Block saw play. If, what is that crow called? Vex Crow. If Vex Crow didn't see play, will this actually see play? Evolved Kobold only saw play because of Icelands? Oh, right. That was in the meta too. You never really played it for the minion value anyways, you played it for the text, so... Ogre Mage doesn't see any play, and... Any of you even remotely thought about putting an Ogre Mage in your deck? Does one more spell damage really matter that much? Does it really? One is kind of a lot, a little bit. Yeah, some of you have actually tried to put about Ogre Mage in your... Oh my god. Ogre Magi also playing Spell Power Shaman? I don't know what meta you were playing in. So... Can anyone actually think of a deck that Cosmic Anomaly would go in? And also, I think... Oh, there it is, the Shooting Star. I mean, Cosmic Anomaly Shooting Star might be a thing. It's like, build your own meteor. A little bit. Tempo Mage, easy, easy. Do you really put it into Tempo Mage, though? You really? This looks like it could actually be legitimate. Cosmic Anomaly Shooting Star. Mana, 2 cards. 3 damage to the enemy board. Yep. 4/3. That's pretty reasonable. Multi-shot with a 4/3? Well, even better than multi-shot. Like, multi-shot. We had that card in Hunter just better. It wasn't that good. There's 1 mana discount on Grievous Bite. 1 mana discount is a lot. Realistically, this is basically 1 mana Arcane Explosion. In almost all circumstances. Yeah, it's kind of like Duskbreaker. 1 more mana, but you get a 4/3 instead of a 3/3, and you get spell damage +2. We see it? Is it real? Two cards. Duskbreaker is kinda 2 cards, not really, but kinda. Sort of. Like, I'm just saying, they priced these 2 cards to move. It's like if you were having a sale. This is the mana cost you would put on the card in order to make it sell. In a way, that's kind of like what all card games do, right? They price cards at a value so that they sell packs. It seems like it's a good card. And Blizzard's like, oh, you see this old model here? Evolved Kobold? That was a 4 mana 2/2. We tacked on 2 attack, we tacked on health, we tacked on elemental tag. Selling fast, so you better get it now. And hey, we're even going to throw in this discount Arcane Explosion, half off. While we're having a sale, you remember how Karen is played everywhere? Well, kind of. yeah, we kind of have a better Kieran also, right? What do you think? Better Kieran? He's Kieran but worse? Or is he Kieran but better? One mana too much to see play! No mid-range priest that wants this card. Quest priest? And the obvious note is Powered Shield. The slightly less obvious note, but interesting, is Vivid Nightmare. Sick Dream is Vivid Nightmare plus Powered Shield on the 1/1. I think that's a little bit too much. Probably not Vivid Nightmare. Silence isn't meta, but if you're running Quest Priest and maybe like Death Rattle stuff, and there's a lot of Death Rattle stuff to silence. Green screen needs some tinkering. I'm checking. What's the problem with it? Oh, thank you. Maybe this? Didn't turn off my overhead pipe, thank you. Still a little bit blurry. I need to make it set to not be auto light. Okay, turn those off, turn that off. Apply. Let me play around with this. Vroom, vroom. Whoa. Whoa. So, what in the world? When was I zoomed in like this? Oh, yikes. Okay, let's... Okay. I'm playing around with this. Sorry. screen color, this color, okay. Get to see it in action, how a green screen works. Let the darkness spread across the land. Darkness has taken over. Okay, that looks solid. This card will be auto-included. You're blind if you don't agree. Ah! I'm blind! I can't see! I actually can't. My vision is pretty, thick, as it were. Help! I can't see that this is an auto-include. I also can't see. Help! And what the heck is this? Does anyone know what this is? What are we doing with this thing? I'm not even sure my salesman self can do this. Have you ever wanted to run more than 2 equality in your deck? Well, boy, have I got a good deal for you! Not only do you set all minions to 1 health, but this one also reduces their attack down to 1. Now, how much would you pay for that? Would you pay 7 mana? I got good news! Costs less than that. Would you pay 6 mana? Well, no, at the low, low price of 5 mana, you too can get equality plus setting all minions to 1 on top of that. $5 mana. I got deals. Also got some Bitcoin for you. How is that doing these days? Bitcoin. Staying steady at 8,000. Let's see, how's it Connect doing? What the heck? This actually still exists? It's okay. At least my Twitter stock is doing well. Wait a second. Oh, crap. Yeah, 20%? Whatever. At least I have Facebook. Oh my god, that's a huge drop. Well, at least I have Blizzard stock. That'll always go up. No, don't actually have Blizzard stock. I mean, I'm pretty sure in... I shouldn't even joke about that because that would be a conflict of interest in some way. I probably do own some amount of Blizzard just because I invest in mutual funds, but certainly not specifically for that. Disclaimer, I own everything because I invest in mutual funds. I was watching a clip from Asmodai where he was suggesting that the way to fix World of Warcraft is to raise $1 billion and buy out all the Activision Blizzard stock. It's like a good cause. If only I had thought about it. More than $1 billion? I think with $1 billion, you could probably get a decent amount of influence. So let's get started. I too will start collecting for the $1 billion affect Hearthstone Development Fund. See, Activision market cap is at 58.69 billion. Okay, well, let's make it 10 billion. $0 for your 25 a month. You are making a huge dent into that $10 billion. Seems like a good time to shout out subs. Joey Soft, Hegemony Hog, Hegemony. UCMT GKTP, thanks for the bits. 72 Ox Days, Nurkus, Shadow Lord, Miss Kramer, Paraplegic Fish. You guys are all helping to contribute in my attempt to raise $10 billion to invest in Activision stock. If only I had slightly under 1 billion more subs. Almost there. We have a Trump who teaches economy video. I've thought about doing a Trump teachings finance basics, but there's so many resources out there already, aren't there? I don't know if I could do it justice. Everyone should know about basic finance, but I don't know if, you know, me calling it is the right way to do it. Me a moment to get the funnel card that was revealed up on screen. I have to download the picture. New legendary rogue card has been revealed by Ali Straza. What do we think? OP? I think the card's pretty good. Mana 4/2 Death Rattle, or Battle Cry, discover a Death Rattle minion, also gain its Death Rattle. I think it's pretty freaking good. Add image, add these in, create new, Myra. did I save this thing? Oh, I saved it as rogueleg. Rogueleg. Does it go into Odrook? There's a few really good ones you can get. Such as from this set, there's that mechanical dragon whelp thingy. Rattle summon a 7/7 mechanical dragon. Is that the best one you can get right now? Boondrake's a lot of value. Opponents see what death rattle you picked. So yeah. And I'm not sure if the people who are calling it bad quite get this, but you also get the card in your hand, in case it wasn't obvious. So it's kind of like Azure Drake, because the death rattle value is probably more than 2 health. You also get a card in your hand, which is a Discover, so pretty decent. Side question, would you put Azure Drake in Odd Rogue right now? I'm not actually certain that it's a definite yes. There are a lot of yeses, and then maybe the no's here are people who thought about it for a moment and then are like, no. I don't think Azure Drake is a automatic. Azure Drake isn't in Wild Odd Rogue. Oh, that's a good point. That I have a few wild experts. Wild. New rogue deck? Yeah, some sort of value rogue deck. So many times I try to build a value rogue. Never works out. I don't think in this meta it's gonna work out because Shutterwalk. Someone remind me what Shutterwalk's battle cry sound is? Why have I not heard it enough? Yeah, I'll go right up to the microphone. My jaws that bite. My claws that catch. 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 So, yeah. Will value rogue work? Maybe not. I don't even know if Azure Drake would see play. That's the spooky part right now. Well, I mean, would see play in Miracle Rogue, or would it? The thing about Azure Drake is, I believe it was Hall of Famed before Elven Minstrel saw print, right? Elven Minstrel is kind of good. It is used in Wild Miracle? Okay. Well, good to know. Explain why not Miracle? I mean, just in case there were better cards now. As someone who doesn't play Wild, I don't know how widely Drake is in Wild. Okay. Let's get to the review. And I think today we're gonna do a review day because it's my short stream day anyways, and I haven't made my rice, so we're gonna review these cards. We're gonna review the custom card of the week, and boy, is that a fun day of Hearthstone. That's what I'm talking about. Can you straw pull the custom cards for science? What are you meaning by that? Stream the rice cooking? I don't know about that. I don't know how I can do that. Not really interesting. You put the rice in a bucket, you put water in the bucket, and you turn the thing on. Went down? What? I just turned the green screen back on, as usual, if that's what you were saying. You've been here a long time, you know it is dark. Wait, is that just... Whoops. Wait, you mean versus what it was here? Happened. Green went darker. It looks like a light turned off. Um. Hmm. Oh, well, they're fixed. Saved. Thank you for noticing. Let me tweet out that I am... Day of reviews. reviewing the latest Boomsday cards, and then the custom cards of the week. A critic. Who's gonna get that part? Yes. A critic? A while since we've seen that card. I want to know when you'll start reviewing anime. Should I? Kind of do that a lot. Maybe I should review board games also. And then I should review. And I should do Trump teachings, basic finance. So many possibilities. I can review video games too. Everyone loves Trump reviews. I always feel like I should probably review some stuff. Basic finance taught in terms of Hearthstone. That's interesting. I am going to write that down as a note. We could do a basic finance course using Hearthstone as the as baseline to make a bunch of analogies. Yeah, stuff like put in your money into wild growth early, and then you get compound interest. I don't know. I'll think of something. Everyone knows that wild growth is great. Okay, that might be a little bit hard, but I'll write it down as an idea. Analogy for basic finance through Hearthstone? Question mark? It's probably a bad idea, but we'll see. Druid is an investment versus spending your paycheck. Gotta make sure that you don't get those payday overloads. that be interesting? I do a video on whether or not the $80 bundle is worth it for Hearthstone. And I secretly disguise that video as a basic finance course. Because whether or not it's worth it depends on where you are at in terms of finance. It's like teaching people in a very sneaky and devious way. Because the real answer is going to be some of you should. Some of you definitely shouldn't. And some of you, it's gonna be a, you possibly shouldn't, but you know, if you work a bit extra because you really like the game, then you should. Now let's see. Is the $80 Jiraxis worth it? The answer is no, but the answer is yes. I did it. The answer is it depends. Everyone knows that I'm the value mayor. Mayor Value Town. Anywho. By the way, let me see if this works. There we go. Also got my Mecha logo now. Wait, does that work? Yeah. Speaking of value, I got both value banners rotating now, in fact. Let's flip it over here. Use the link below for both G2A and Geico. It's like the Value Brothers. Now let's go on to Crystal Smith Kangor there. Welcome to today's card reviews. Reviews. Ah, I always mess this up. Welcome to today's Boomsday card reviews of the latest cards. I don't like that one. One more time. Why do review and reveal have to sound so close? Let's review the latest cards revealed from Boomsday, starting with Smith Kangor. This is the Paladin Legendary and the head of the Crystology? Ah, crap, what was the name? Oh my god, I actually got it right. But I tangented so much. Let's start with Smith Kangor, who is the head of the Crystology department, the Paladin branch of science. 2 mana, 1/2, Divine Shield, Lifesteal. Your healing is doubled. Really interesting set of abilities here. Divine Shield and Lifesteal is very juicy, especially with Corpse Taker. Gives you 2 very important categories of the Divine Shield and the Lifesteal. Paladins sometimes, in order to put in Corpse Taker, had to put in something not so great like Vicious Scalehud. And also, your healing is doubled is really big. Lay on Hands with Smith Kangor, gain 16 health. That's quite a lot of stabilize at the end. Card isn't even bad if you just play it as a 2 mana 1/2 Divine Shield Lifesteal. And it kind of compares to Smith, and you do that against aggro matchups. You could gain, I mean, even in the basic case, it seems like you would gain 4 health off of it because your opponent sends in 1 card and hits it. Your Kangor deals 1 damage, you heal 2. Opponent sends in another minion to kill it. Your Kangor deals 1 damage, heals 2. So it's kind of 4 mana and then gain probably something like 4 more health because Kangor's got 2 health and Divine Shield kind of counts as 2 health, and deal 2 damage, 1 to 2 minions. That sounds pretty good, right? So in a meta where you need health, and that sounds a little bit silly because you might think you always want health. What, did I say something wrong? Question mark? I'm seeing all these question marks. Right? I just got debated. So in a world where you need health, and in a meta where you need health, and I know that sounds silly because Hearthstone's goal is to send your opponent's health points down to 0, right? But strangely enough, right now we're in a meta where health mainly doesn't matter. so Kangor is not very good in this meta. But in a meta where you do need health, Crystal Smith Kangor is pretty good. It's generally against aggressive decks. Clearly, something that Heal Paladin would strongly consider. Though Heal Paladin might not be good at the moment because there are decks out there claws that bite, claws that catch, you know, that thing. Where your health does not actually matter. In which case, this does not really threaten the Shutterwalk deck enough. But it's also a fun idea to think that when you play your Death Knight Uther, and it's been so long since I've seen that card that I don't remember the exact title, but when you play your Death Knight Uther, and on a later turn you play Kangor, you're healing for 10 with that lifesteal weapon. Pretty sweet. Throw the Ebon Blade, I'm being told. Next up, Cosmic Anomaly. 4 mana, 4/3 mage, elemental card. Spell damage +2. And before you all comment on, wow, power creep on Evolves Kobold, I'm just cutting you off at the head now. Yes, we all know. Now, even though it's a card that's +2 attack and +1 health on a previous card, and that card had seen play in a previous meta, that meta was where Ice Block existed and Ice Lance existed. These days, the spell damage isn't that impactful. The reason why it used to be on the Kobold is because 1 mana card that dealt 4 damage really got impacted by spell damage, whereas that does not exist right now. So then the question is, does this card actually see any play in any deck? Would it see play in a Tempo Mage? Would it see play in a Control Mage? Control Mage, quite possibly not, because your AoE tends to do enough damage anyways, and the only AoE you could stack this with would be Blizzard, which would be coming way too late. Dragon's Fury seems to be a bad stack with it. So what about Tempo Mage? Is this good enough for Tempo Mage? Is a 4 mana 4/3 good enough? You have to play it with a spell. You're dealing an extra 2 damage with Frostbolt, so is a 4 mana 4/3 that deals 2 damage good enough? It's less flexible than Fireplume Phoenix in that case. It's clearly something that will get out of control if it actually survives a turn. But so was Vexcrow. also an elemental, so maybe it'll see play in it's also an elemental, so maybe it'll see play in an elemental deck. But did elementals really run that many spells? They're not going to run arcane missiles. They might run Frostbolt, Fireball, but is that good enough? Why not just run Firebloom Phoenix? And then finally, last but not least, what about spell damage decks? Well, that's the big question mark. I don't know if there's going to be more spell damage synergy cards. But need to look up the card again. Where are you? Unexpected results. But maybe with a card like Unexpected Results? Now that's an 8-mana combo though, and that takes way too long to get off. And your Anomaly can't really survive in play. So I feel like this is Blizzard realizing, okay, spell damage might not actually be that good. We tested Black Cat at a 3-mana 3/3 spell damage +1, and that didn't really make too much of an impact, although that saw very minor play in some tempo mages. So let's try to push the envelope a bit and print spell damage where it should be. And I think this is going to be a new baseline for spell damage in general. And yes, it's mage class only. Some classes probably get spell damage quite a lot better. Would be able to use the spell damage quite a bit better. But the point is, even though a card is so much better than the previous card, maybe it still might see no play. I am interested in seeing, though, if there is any more spell damage type synergy cards. In fact, we're about to look at one, Shooting Star. And this is one of the things that I thought just might make Cosmic Anomaly decent. Shooting Star is 1 mana, deal 1 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. Compare it to... oh, what is the card called? Vicious Bite? No. Oh, get me out of here, chat. Grievous Bite. This is a card very similar to the Hunter card, Grievous Bite, which deals 2 damage to a minion and then 1 to the ones next to it. So it's a 1 mana discount on that. It's also very similar to Arcane Explosion, where it's just 1 mana less, but you don't deal 1 damage to all enemies, you only deal it to 3 enemies, which for most purposes is the same. A low-cost card, especially one that does AoE, comboed with a card that adds spell damage. That seems to be really powerful. So these two particular cards working together, Shooting Star and Cosmic Anomaly, would be 5 mana for 4/3. Deal 3 damage to enemy minions if you were looking to do the most optimistic setup. And that is kind of similar to Duskbreaker, which we all know is a great card. The main problem is this does take 2 cards, but it does have a 4/3 spell damage +2 staying on the board. It's an interesting idea. We'll see if it works. I'm not really seeing a Tempo Mage run a card that can't hit face, though, at the moment. And I'm not really seeing a Tempo Mage running a 4/3. It's going to require quite a lot of adjustment to the deck. I should also ask, and I did do a lot of talking beforehand, but someone saying this in chat reminds me. Thingy's asked, is there something funky going on with the volume, or is my Windows falling apart? Is there anything funky going with my sound? I did make an adjustment to it, but shouldn't really impact anything, I think. Sounds good? Fine? Okay, cool. We've got Zerek Master Cloner, the legendary from Priest, 6 mana 5/5. Death Rattle, if you've cast any spells on this minion, resummon it. It's just like Cairn. Except it's a buff on Cairn. 5/5 instead of 4/5. And it's not just Death Rattle once. Once it comes back, it still has Death Rattle if you've cast any spells on this minion, resummon it. Infinite Cairn would be pretty good, right? Well, one small catch. Small catch, you actually have to cast a spell on it. Priest has an excellent one to put on it. It would be Powered Shield. In which case it's a 7 mana 5/7, which comes back as a 5/5. Pretty good. Seems like a natural fit for a Quest Priest deck. And if there are more spells that get printed that want to be cast on your minions, Zerek gets a lot better. Right now there are no Priest decks that actually focus around mid-ranged minions, which is the main problem with Zerek. You need to do that in order for Zerek to be good. There's Quest Priest, which is about it. Maybe this makes Quest Priests better? Probably does. It'll certainly see play in Quest Priest. And you don't need to cast buffs on it. Any spell does it. So yes, you can even cast Shadow Word Death on Zerek. And it's not absolutely useless. It will reset Zerek to a 5/5 and heal it. So maybe if your opponent casts Shrink Array, look at that transition right there, on your Zerek, and you Shadow Word Pain Zerek, then boom! 5, wait a second, that doesn't even... doesn't even work. Forget that. It doesn't even work! Oh wait, that does work! That does work! I pained my card! Yeah, I was like, wait, Shrink Ray doesn't target. Okay, transition. Okay, can we still save that? Try that one more time. It's not useless because sometimes that can remove debuffs with a card like Shadow Word Pain. If your opponent casts Shrink Ray! Look at that transition. Shrink Ray, the Paladin spell, 5 mana, set the attack and health of all minions to 1. If your opponent were to Shrink Ray your Zerek, you could just Shadow Word Pain Zerek, comes back as a 5/5. You can also heal Zerek, and then that would resummon Zerek if you use something like Binding Heal. So whether or not Zerek sees play is going to depend on if there can be a viable mid-range Priest deck, and whether or not there are more spells that will target your minions. that you want to cast. Back to the Shrink Ray, though. So, I'm gonna try to put on my bad salesman hat here. It's similar to Equality, right? Except it also sets the attack of minions to 1. 5 mana Shrink Ray Paladin spell set the attack and health of all minions to 1. How much would you pay for Equality that also set the attack of all minions to 1? Would you pay 7 mana for it? Would you pay 6 mana for it? Well, for the low cost of 5 mana, you can do that. If you thought Equality was really good, maybe you want to put a 3rd copy of Equality in your deck. Now you can add in Shrink Ray. I don't think it's actually worth 5 mana. I don't really think you need a 3rd copy of Equality. I'm not even sure I would pay 4 mana for it. Here's an interesting idea. If Heal Paladin is a thing, and your opponent does have 7 minions on the board, doing a mass Eldor Peacekeeper on all of them, a mass Humility, and setting all their attack values to 1 might make it so that their maximum damage output is 7. In which case, you can easily out-heal it every turn. That's just me stretching here. But maybe such a possibility exists, and if they were to buff their attack, then bam, you Consecration then? I don't know. The pure Sol no play with the 3/7 body. That's pretty fair. It's yeah, I'm just not seeing it. I feel like it's overcosted by 1, if not 2 mana. Thanks. In a world where a lot of people are cutting Eldor Peacekeeper, and Control Paladin doesn't really exist yet at the moment. I have to really stretch to see where I can actually use Shrink Ray. And I'm not seeing it right now. And finally, we have a third legendary minion and head of a Labo revealed. It's Myra Rotspring, 5 mana 4/2 for Rogue, Battlecry, discover a Death Rattle minion, also gain its Death Rattle. What an incredible value card, Mayor of Valleytown approves. I think it's kind of similar to Azure Drake in the sense of you're paying 5 mana, you're getting a 4 attack minion, 2 health instead of 4, but you're getting a Death Rattle, which is probably worth more than 2 health. There are a lot of good Death Rattles out there. One of the ones this expansion is the Mechanical Whelp, where Myra summoning a 7/7 Mechanical Dragon would be huge. And it is like Azure Drake because you are also gaining a card as you play her. Discover a Death Rattle minion. Arguably better than draw a card because discovering one of many choices. The main problem with this card at the moment is there are few rogue decks out there which are looking for value. Odd Rogue has become more offensive, and I was asking and thinking about, would you run Myra Rotspring in Odd Rogue? I looked to Wild Odd Rogue for an inspiration, and that deck does not run Azure Drake. So if you're not running Azure Drake, would you even run Myra? Maybe too slow there. Would you put this in Miracle Rogue? Maybe there's not enough room. Would you put this in a Value Rogue deck? Probably, but do Value Rogue decks exist? There are a lot of Value Rogue cards printed at the moment, but can a Value Rogue deck, and I have tried very hard through the course of Hearthstone to make Value Rogue decks work. Inevitably, the Tempo Rogues seem to just work better, or the Miracle Rogues. So, I don't know. Cool card, clearly incredible value. We're just gonna have to see if a Value Rogue deck will look like it works. Okay, anything else to talk about? Oh, there's a few questions about this. I imagine that the opponent does know what the Death Rattle of Myra Rotspring is. I just realized that Ali Estraza went pigtailed because Myra Rotspring is also pigtails. Wow. That's dedication. You haven't seen the reveal video for this one. It's one of the better ones. It's cute, not quite as cute as Alistraza. One moment, I got a door. Right back.